Y'all, my voice has been doing this thing. I think it's because I've been speaking more and like really speaking my truth, where it sounds distorted and like ungrounded and very airy. So I'm kind of working with that right now. But I drove here. I always come to the beach to record these videos, and something inspired me. I wanted to share this specific message. And then as I was pulling into the parking lot, it shifted into something else that I had been wanting to share for a while. And as I'm sure you know by the title of the video, it's having to do with shifting our identity and how we can use our nervous system as a tool in that, and why we might be struggling with that shift. I know that was my story for a long time. I very much wanted to be a different version of myself, be a more aligned version of myself. I wanted my reality to shift, and something just wasn't clicking. Like, I would try and try and try, and nothing was clicking. Well, I won't say nothing, but a lot of it wasn't clicking. So I want to share this if you're kind of feeling like that. If you're like, I keep trying to do these things, I keep trying to show up, and it feels like pushing a boulder uphill, like I just can't. And I want to explain to you how our nervous system is interacting with this, and why it's a tool that we can use, and kind of understand how our nervous system works and why we may be struggling in this situation. So to start this off, I want to share this story where a couple weeks ago, somebody that I love came to me and asked what's one thing. They'd been struggling very similarly with sticking to their habits that they wanted to create. They were struggling with, the health side of things and just taking care of themselves as well as they could. And they said, what's one piece of advice that you would give me? Like one thing that I should do, or, and I really sat with it for a second. I was thinking, and I was like, okay, one thing. And I look back and I see the irony in the question that she asked me. And I said, choose one thing. Choose one thing. Now, there's many layers to this. So even in the question that she asked me, she said, what's one thing that you would recommend? If she told me list 15 things that you would recommend for me, I could easily make that list. And I've done that before with this person, where I'm like, okay, starting next week, we're going to do A, B, C, and D. You're going to shift this, this, and this. And it never stuck. And why she asked for just one thing without her even knowing is like, that feels doable. It feels doable. It's not overwhelming. If I had sat there for an hour and lectured her on the million different things she could do differently, her body would be so shocked by that. It would be an overwhelm sorry, I'm getting excited. It would be an overwhelm of information. It would be an overwhelm to her system, all that I was giving her. So she asked me, what's one thing? She asked that not even knowing that she just wanted one thing, because that's what her system was able to handle. So I told her, change one thing. Change one thing. And I asked her, I was like, if there was one shift that you would make, one shift, what would it be? And she sat there for a while and she was like, okay, well, I was really on top of journaling for a while. It felt good, and then I fell off, and if I could get back journaling, I feel like that would be a big win. And I was like, cool, start there. And there's so much trust in this process, because why we want to shift everything is we feel like we have control over it. If we say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to show up a completely different person and I'm going to do 100 things different, then it's like, okay, in our minds, we're like, okay, tomorrow reality is going to shift and everything's going to change and everything's going to be fine. Where when we surrender to the unfolding, that can be a lot scarier, because it's less control that we feel like we have. So what I mean by this is, like I was telling her, I said, sit with yourself, ask yourself, what's one thing that feels doable, that does not feel overwhelming? It might be pushing my edge, it might be uncomfortable, but I know that it's not going to be too much. What's one thing that you can shift? And then I was like, once you integrate that journaling in and it becomes part of your routine, you're going to know this is where the trust comes in, this is where the surrender comes in, and listening to your intuition, listening to your body. I said, you'll know when you're ready to shift somewhere else. And then you move accordingly, you integrate that in, and then again, your body will tell you when it's time to make another shift. So I just wanted to preface with that, so it's like a real life example that you can kind of see, and that's a little more tangible. So when it comes to the nervous system, our nervous system feels safe with the familiar. Now, the familiar might be shit. The familiar might be poverty, pain, shit relationships, shit job. But your nervous system knows what to expect. It's familiar with it. So even something more desirable, like taking care of ourselves, eating healthy foods, moving our body, having a job that is inspiring and we have passion in, and having relationships that are beautiful and helping us grow, all of these things, right? That I feel like all of us are desiring right now, connection and supportive community. It sounds great, but our nervous system goes, hey, that's not known to us. That's scary territory. We don't want to go there because we can't control what happens there. If we know what's happening, we can control it. Again, even if it's shit, you know how to control that situation. You know what to expect. Your body is prepped for it. Your nervous system is prepared for it. Your mind, body, emotions know what they're walking into, right? So even if that's the crazy thing. It's like, even if it's a situation that's unsafe, it's like, okay, why do people stay in abusive patterns, right? With abusive partners or whatever? Because it's familiar. Even though it's unsafe to the nervous system, it feels safe, because what would it be if not that, right? Like what would we have to protect ourselves from if we were in a different situation? Like, that's what your nervous system is always asking itself. It's your body's constantly scanning for safety. So at least if it knows the unsafe territory that it's in, it knows how to control it, and it knows what to expect, and it feels safe in there. So this is kind of like, I don't know, it took me a while to understand this with nervous system regulation. There's so much depth to it, and there's so much, I mean, okay, so this podcast is, this YouTube channel, whatever, is very much me, like, saying everything that's in my soul. I feel like a lot of times when I share with people, I kind of keep it I use words that people commonly use so that it's a little more grounded. But in this space, I just don't want to hold back. It's like the nervous system is your subconscious mind. It's your essence. It's like, it's spiritual. It's magic. It's beautiful. It's a tool for us. There's depth to it, so much more than just the biological, chemical, scientific stuff, which is like cool and again grounding for us to have that tangible information. But the nervous system is such a miraculous being, and it has infinite wisdom. It's so intelligent, and it's always trying to protect us, which is beautiful. And that's why it's a tool. It's not moving against us. It's helping us move forward. We just have to work with it to find that flow forward. So, in working with it, what's not working with it is saying, hey, tomorrow we're going to change everything, because your body is like, no, that's not who we are. We don't know who this version of you is. We're not going to do that. We don't know what to expect when we make that $1 million, when we start eating well. We don't know that person. We don't know what problems they're going to have, what things they're going to have to look out for. So we're not going to do that. We know what to expect in the position that we're in. This is where the one step at a time comes in. If there's one thing I've learned in this damn lifetime, it is that slow and steady wins the race. And same thing with your nervous system. What we're doing with the nervous system is titrating it. We are expanding, and then we're integrating that expansion so that we don't expand too fast. It's like a rubber band. If you just pull that bitch, it's gonna snap. But if you stretch it a little bit, and then let it relax. Stretch a little bit more, let it relax. Then it can stretch much wider, right? So we don't want to go too fast here. And this is why, if you have been unable to get a grip on your habits or whatever goals you're trying to reach, this very well could be at the foundation of why it's not working. When we make one shift, so let's say I want to be a healthier, happier person, right? So I'm going to say, okay, I order out food every night. Instead of saying that I'm going to now cook every meal and meal prep and make the healthiest organic meals and all of that every day, instead of saying that, because that, even just like thinking of that from that perspective is like, whoa, that's a lot. I'm gonna say, okay, you know what? On weekends, I'm gonna cook my own meals. I have the time, I have the energy. On weekends, I'm gonna cook my own meals. That feels like a push for me, but it also feels exciting. It feels a little bit scary because I'm pushing my edge. I haven't done that before, but it feels good. It feels good in me. Like, this feels aligned. This feels refreshing to my body. When I think about it, my body doesn't contract. When I think about it, my body goes, ooh, that feels good. Like, I want to do that. I want to cook on weekends, right? It might be a struggle bus. It's going to be a learning curve, and it's going to take some getting used to, but I'm going to cook on weekends. And then you do that. You do that. And sometimes you have to adjust. Always in life, you're going to be adjusting, right? So that might be like the juiciest move for you. Or you might go to do that and realize, okay, you know what? This is actually still biting off more than I can chew right now. I'm just going to cook dinners or whatever. Or you might catch on to that really fast and it feels good, and it integrates quickly into who you are, because now you're somebody that cooks for themselves on the weekends. You're somebody that makes their own meals. You're somebody that eats healthy on the weekends. That might integrate more easily and more quickly into you. And then you'll know, again, this takes trust, this takes intuition, this takes faith, this takes communication with the universe, truly. You'll know when it's time to say, okay, you know, I'm feeling solid enough in this. Solid enough. I'm feeling solid enough in this. I'm feeling good with this. I feel like this has really integrated into who I am. What's one more shift I can make? And then it's, you know, okay, I'm just using like basic ass shit here so that people can understand. Okay, I'm gonna go on walks 3 times a week or whatever the fuck you want to do. You guys get the point. And it's very specific for each person. So it's like, I really encourage you not to go out and look for plans from other people. Like, listen to yourself, because Again, I use those basic examples, but for me, if you ask me what I'm integrating into my life, one of my main focuses, my main priorities of integrating into my life has been smoking at night and moving my body. That is the most healing thing for me, and that's a whole other fucking topic. But I'm not gonna go on TikTok and have somebody be like, hey, smoke weed and move your body. Like, you have to do this. That's a me thing. That's a me thing. That's not gonna work for the next person. Other people aren't saying that. That's a me thing. So just like, you know, the woman I was with, she said journaling. That might not be your thing. That might not be your next step. That was her next step. So again, this is very intuitive. It might be drawing a picture once a day. It might be a phone call with a friend. It might be, I don't know, literally anything. It might be like, I'm gonna lay here with my cat for 15 minutes. That feels really good to me and like something that I've been desiring to do. So now I'm going to make space to do this. Whatever it may be, listen to yourself and trust that. There's no greater teacher than the one within us. Nobody else's life is going to be the same as ours. Nobody else's healing journey, growth journey is going to be the same as ours. We all have our own medicine. We're all unique. So it's tapping into that. And with this identity shifting, so going back to that example, let's say you do cook, you know, those meals on the weekends. Like I was saying, your body feels safe in that. Oh, I'm somebody that, you know, really takes care of myself on the weekend, that prioritizes myself in the food I'm cooking on the weekend. Yeah, you know, I am that person. And you have proof of that. And it integrates into your body. And you truly become that person. And then you get a win. And your body's like, this feels fucking good. You start getting that confidence back. You start getting that oomph, that like divinity, that magic inside of you. And then you're like, okay, this feels good. And I know there's that temptation to be like, okay, let's add 12 more things to our plate because this feels so good. So now I want to do 100 more things. And that type of control, that type of urgency is what we are not going to lean into. We're going to lean into the slow and steady, the surrender, the integration, the having faith in the timing of the unfolding, and not feeling like we need to rush to finally be enough. So then, you know, you make one more shift. And there's no timeline here. There's no fucking timeline here. You might need 3 days for this shift. You might need 3 months for this shift. Wait until you feel integrated with it. Because then if you just push even further, your nervous system goes, nope, this is too much. This is too stressful. This is too much energy. This isn't who I am. Revert back. And then all of those habits, which I think a lot of us have experienced, I know I've experienced 100%, is like I try to do too much and then I burn the fuck out and then I do nothing, right? So it's what I call the snowball effect. You build on top of each integration. You are, okay, so as I was actually sitting here, because I just like jot down a few things before I start speaking, and I felt like there was I was like, there's something else, like there's something else to this. And the word that came to me was recalibration. We are quite literally recalibrating our nervous system, which our nervous system is a physical manifestation of our subconscious mind. So we are recalibrating our subconscious mind. What's our subconscious mind? The beliefs of who we are, our limiting beliefs, memories, emotions, truly the perspective that we see ourselves and we see this world through. Like it's the lens that we see this world and ourselves through. So we are recalibrating that. Recalibration takes time. It's not just like a snap of the fingers, oh, done. That's not how this shit goes. Like, have you ever clicked update on your phone and it's just like, oh, update complete? No, that shit needs to fucking download. You know what I mean? So that's what we're doing here with our nervous system. I feel like I'm going to end it here. I hope that this landed. I hope that these words were wording and made sense. But just as a closing message to sum this all up, our nervous system feels safe within the identity that is known to it. So we are integrating shifts in our identity, allowing that integration to feel safe, and then shifting a little further. Or I don't even want to say further, that's not the right word. Deeper, I'll say deeper, shifting a little bit deeper. Again, that recalibration. If we try to do everything at once, that's what burnout is. It's like our system literally fries because it feels that it's unsafe. So I don't want you to think that all the reasons you haven't been able to keep up with your habits or, you know, whatever this is pertaining to, whether it be money goals or like relational goals, any goals, right? It's not because of you. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you don't have the energy. It's, what kind of is you don't have the energy because you're burnt the fuck out. But it's not because you're not capable. It's not because you're self-sabotaging. It's none of that bullshit. You don't need to push harder, push further, keep grinding. No, 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 no. We're not doing that. We're listening to our nervous system instead of fighting against it, which it will always win. It will always win. We know those people that keep pushing and keep going, and then something happens and they end up like bedridden or some shit, you know what I mean? We're working with it. We're listening to it, right? We're using it as a tool. It's such a beautiful tool. It's such a beautiful tool. And just, I really encourage you, release the urgency. And I'm saying this to myself too. Release the urgency. There will never be a day in this life, as long as we're on planet Earth, where we're like, oh, mission complete. We did it. We did everything. We are done. If that were the case, we would be like off the earth. There'd be no reason, like no more lessons for us to learn, right? Our soul wouldn't need to be here experiencing this. So there will always be more becoming, more goals, more lessons. It's never ending. So just release the urgency. In our minds, we think like, oh, once we get there. But there's never a there. We're never going to get there. That makes sense? We're always going to be becoming. Life's always going to be unfolding. We're always going to be healing, growing. So surrender to the process. Take your time. Listen to your body. Have faith that you are enough right now in this second as you are, and that life is enough right now in the second as it is. Okay, that's it. Sending love to you guys.